Okay guys, welcome to today's HM farming guide. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but I definitely want to show you what is, in my opinion, and actually just a fact, that this is by far the best day to be HM farming. Sundays, Arvis days, as long as this exists, I highly recommend setting up these specific comps that I'm about to show you. I would consider fairly easy to do. So I'm going to go through 3 of them, and they are by far the fastest days to HM farm. So let's get into it. First up, and probably the most accessible to everyone, one of the 2 most accessible ways to do this is these 4 units. You look at them just briefly, and you're probably looking at it like, oh, Brave Bow, okay. Innis, don't worry, it doesn't matter about the merges, don't worry about something like that. This is not supposed to be like trying to scare you off, but essentially what happens for this specific comp is you have these 2 units in the top.
Ready. Let's go.
Kill the mages.
Of course.
So as you can see, Roderick kills the red.
Sure.
Leon kills the blue, and you could use any blue lance cav here, like Jagan with a brave lance, for instance, is also usable. You could use Abel, who comes with a brave lance. Here you could use any mage that's fast enough, like Nino, for instance, to kill the blue mage, or you could use a Brave Bow user because they have low defense. And here's the most important part. Most important part is that you use these 2 units here to kill the 2 calves. Once you kill the 2 calves, you set up an enemy phase kill with Arvis.
Your command?
So you kill these 2 units, and the reason this works is because those 2 units, and they're the most important ones, Katarina and Innis.
Behold my skill.
Katarina and Innis have really high resistance. So that means they can tank a hit from Arvis on the enemy phase, survive, and just kill him on the retaliation, so that it ends up being really quick. As you can see, if I just auto battle it, the units just go in, they kill, and easy. You've pretty much done 20 feathers within
Your plan?
12 seconds, I see. It's about 12 seconds or so. So it's really quick. I highly recommend doing a setup like this if you have it. There's a lot of candidates for who this can work. I've used Katarina and Innis because they're not HM max, but you can actually use somebody like
Let's go.
Niles, for instance, with enough support. He has enough res to tank a hit. You could use other high res mages as well. Someone else that's red. Even Ray. Like Ray comes with the wolf tome, for instance, so he could actually just kill the axe cav in 1 hit. Then you could give him like red tome breaker, and as long as he survives from Arvis with the red tome breaker and maybe moonbow, he'll be able to kill Arvis. So that's another example of another unit that would survive Arvis's hit and counterattack. Now usually the weaker your units are, the more support they need.
Understood.
So in this case, Innis would be a little bit short killing the lance cav if I hadn't given Roderick drive attack. But it doesn't need to be a drive attack seal. I could have just given him hone attack
Of course.
from like Olivia or Matilda, and he gets it just fine. As you can see, just an attack buff would do it.
Your command?
Katarina is fast enough to double with color advantage to kill the axe cav. This is no problem. Somebody like Ray would accomplish almost the same thing. The beautiful thing is you can just inherit Werewolf to a bunch of red mages, give them red Tomebreaker from Odin with Moonbow, and they'll be just fine killing Arvis just from high res. You'll have to use high res red mages. Obviously you couldn't use somebody like Tharja with low res. She would probably struggle a lot more or would need extensive support. Innis, on the other hand, has enough attack to kill the cav here, but you could use a Brave Bow user as well, and as long as they kill Arvis, this succeeds. So as you can see, this method just requires 2 high-res units in the bottom slots, and it's very fast.
I will defeat you.
So, definitely really good. Now, for those of you that say, okay, I don't have 2 high-res units, give me something more, Teach. Okay, I do have more methods, and I definitely want to show those off to you. This is only one. There might not be the perfect setup for you to do those high-res units. Well, I have a different one here, and this is for you guys who don't have high-res units, but maybe you have decent attack units. Decent attack, low res. So for in this case,
Right.
I'm using F Robin with the blue Tomebreaker,
Okay.
and she kills the blue mage. We have Jagan, as I mentioned earlier, with the Brave Lance. He has Hone attack to buff up Takumi, so he goes in, kills the red mage.
All right.
Takumi has Quick Impulse to charge his Moonbow,
All right.
and Gordon, which a lot of people might have here.
What now?
You see, a lot of the choices here will be very specific, so Arvis goes in and dies. Now, you're probably wondering, How did Gordon survive? Well, the reason Gordon survived is because he has Vantage. And the way Vantage works here is
Your servant.
because Arvis has Arvis has Growing Flame pre-charged,
You got it.
Gordon ends up in Vantage range. As you'll notice here,
Yeah.
Jagan kills the red mage, sure, no problem.
Party time.
Takumi debuffs the rest of the units, ensuring that Gordon
Say
gets the
hello to
kill.
a new year.
So support is very important. You can't just throw in a bunch of units and expect to do this. For example, Takumi has Hone Attack 3 and I inherited Vantage to him. It's not as simple as that. Quick Impulse is here so that he has it charged and ready with Vantage in case Arvis hits him. Jagan is running Hone Attack to ensure Takumi has enough attack to kill that cav.
What now?
Gordon pretty much comes with Vantage 2, and the Attack 3 is something on his base kit. I just gave him an Attack 3 seal. Hone Attack is given to him. He needs a little bit of support to get the kill. Now what's interesting here is I gave him Glimmer.
All right.
So he goes down, he gets exactly on the axe cav, and charges his Glimmer. So because of Arvis's low defense, especially after a dagger debuff, an alternative to Takumi, for instance, would be Soth. You could put Soth here, even a 4-star Soth, and Soth has a lot of attack to be able to kill units here, plus you give him Vantage and a pre-charged special, and he'll be able to kill Arvis and debuff for your Bravo user, for instance.
On it.
F Robin comes with the blue Tonebreaker,
Right.
and that's why she's able to kill the blue mage.
On it.
So as you see, she kills the blue mage, and on enemy phase, these units would completely get slaughtered by Arvis. He just ended up doing his AoE special there. We charge Glimmer. Because of his low defense, it scales really well, and Arvis dies. So you do need a little bit of inheritance to make these sort of work, and setups are required, but I highly do recommend you do these things, because as you notice,
Say hello to a new
it's
year.
one of the fastest methods to do it, and the units themselves are all farming SP. So what this means is I'm getting so much SP in all my units, I can build all these units fine, and there's a huge selection of units that can do this. A blue mage, for instance, can kill the red mage. A green mage that's fast can kill the blue mage. You could give blue Tonebreaker.
Okay.
Here's a good reason to use blue Tonebreaker fodder, right? To actually be able to have somebody solo this blue mage all the time. As you can see, it's really fast. We have the enemy phase Vantage working against Arvis's Glowing Flame special, and you're farming it really quickly.
Do not turn your back on me.
What's important is that you try to do the mathematics behind this, ensure you get the kills. I did all I could here to ensure I got the kill as cleanly as possible, and I set up a Vantage Glimmer so that Arvis would die.
Alright.
Same idea with Takumi, he charges up Moonbow ready to kill Arvis on enemy phase with Vantage.
Your servant.
Even through Valve Flame debuffing Takumi, he would still get the kill. Meanwhile, Abel and such gets it on the top. The top two units are very... You can use them as buff bots as long as they do their role. And then the bottom two are either Vantage units or high-res
Time to
range
tip the
units.
scales.
There's a lot of things you can do. You can work on defense ploys, you can work on attack ploys if you need to. There's just a lot of flexibility in how you can set up your units. Attack seals, Hone Attack buffs in the C slot, dagger units,
Party time.
debuffing units to secure kills for
What now?
a Bravo user who would normally have no chance of getting the kill. See, there's like 14 times 2, absolutely no chance.
Yeah.
So because of Takumi's able to
Alright.
debuff, he secures the kill,
Right.
and Robin gets it. One of the interesting things to see is, and I wanted to show this off, is sometimes the AI does indeed troll you. So check this out. If you don't use something like Poison Strike, or Seal Defense, or Seal Attack,
Say hello
the
to a
AI
new year.
acts in a funky way where they try to avoid death. So just by taking off Poison Strike Seal on Robin, look what happens. Absolutely nothing, YouTube, because apparently the AI is smarter than me today, so it only chooses not to listen to me when I'm showing it off. But previously it did troll me. Okay, the point still stands. If you want your units to have priority in attack,
Party time.
Poison Strike, Seals in the Seal slot, or even Poison Strike in the B slot, or Seal skills, something which Ray provides, by the way, will be fine. You just put it in the B slot or the Seal slot, and that unit attacks first. That unit has priority,
Hello to a new
and they
year.
always attack first. It's just the nature of like debuffing a unit, so that unit attacks first. It's given priority in the AI, and you can set up your units that way to do it. But as you noticed, Robin isn't actually attacking first. So if in that example there, Robin attacked, I think it was last. Now if I put on the Poison Strike seal again, Robin will attack first.
Your servant.
One of the most interesting things is sometimes the AI does silly things like this.
What now?
Gordon could have went there, and then
Okay.
Robin does nothing. So that could have happened, but instead by putting Poison Strike Seal, Robin attacked first. And you can manipulate your own AI to ensure they don't troll you in case some units can kill 2 units
Turn
instead
your
of
back
1.
on me.
So, as you can see, super fast method, very important to do this on Arvis Day, and you have 2 options for range units. Now, the absolute fastest method possible for Arvis, and if you have Gale Force units, this is what it is.
I'm off.
This is the most difficult to set up, and usually not worth it to inherit Gale Force onto multiple units to accomplish this. But, as you can see, it's a one player phase. This is even faster than the first enemy phase through Arvis.
Brace yourself.
This method, again, is not that difficult to set up, as long as you have a unit with Gale Force and Wings of Mercy. In this case, Cordelia has Wings of Mercy, charges in onto Matilda, right beside Matilda, and kills both using Gale Force. It's a super fast method for farming. I've already exhausted this method for farming as much as possible, and that's why Cordelia isn't even getting HM here.
Brace yourself.
The interesting thing here is
All right.
Matilda just needs to, it could be on anyone, like a blue Lance Cav is a good idea here because they take enough retaliation damage from Matilda
All right.
to go under 50%, or even, you could use Wings of Mercy 1 here. As you can see, my Matilda is left at 3 HP. Again, Jagan, Roderick, Abel, whatever. Blue Lance Cav's very good for this.
I'm off.
To go in, get weakened.
Okay.
Cordelia has Wings of Mercy, Heavy Blade, and Gale Force. So,
All right.
Matilda goes in.
Understood.
Cordelia, the AI understands now that Wings of Mercy works, so they can come over here. They attack, she attacks 3 times actually, which is pretty good. And charges up her Gale Force to kill
Yes.
off Arvis, and of course Roderick just needs to kill this,
Try my best.
and Faye kills that. But this ends up being the absolute fastest way to do Arvis HM farming.
I've had it.
I prefer using the enemy phase method so that you gain 20 HM rather than 15, but if you don't have units that with Gale Force that are maxed yet, or you're just feeling lazy, or you've run out of methods on units with high res, or you don't have Vantage Fodder or something, find this particular method, and 15 HM is still significantly faster for 1 turn than it would be for any other methods. Of course, other candidates for this actually come with Gale Force are Lynn. I've shown this in my advanced HM guide with Lynn. Make sure you check that in my channel. Maybe it'll be in the description below. And we also have
I must
Brave Roy who
prevail.
comes with Gale Force. If you're like a new player, even getting Brave Roy with Gale Force here would be really good. And Brave Roy's unique thing is that he doesn't even need Wings of Mercy. If Brave Roy was right here, he could actually charge in onto this Axe Cav, proc off his Gale Force, and then kill Arvis. And in this case, whoever's in that slot here, like Matilda,
A task.
would go in and kill this Cav. But she doesn't right now. But Brave Roy is even better and more accessible for this because he doesn't need Wings of Mercy. Okay, guys. So that was pretty much it. If this was useful to you, please give it a like, I guess, on the YouTube channel. If you want to learn a lot more stuff, give us a subscribe, give us a subscription. And finally, if you have any alternative methods to Arvis that you can come up with, feel free to let us know in the comments below. If you found this useful, just let us know. And what are you using to farm these, and what methods do you personally find? How often do you HM farm? How much you value this? And get those feathers, guys. Thanks. Peace.